Welcome to the Clownhead Fantasy Football Clownhead Show 2025 edition. Man, it's been a lot of years, and I feel like we just continue to come back at it bigger and better than ever. This year, I'm going to bring in my producer, co-host, son, all one and the same, Brad, and we're going to do a two-person show and just kind of talk ball and just break down what we see, what we're doing, and how we're managing our teams beyond getting the news and notes out of the way kind of at the beginning of each show. So what we'll do is we'll kind of rapid fire through some of the notes of the day that's going of the goings-ons in the Cloudhead community, and then we'll kind of break down some of the things that we're doing with management of our teams and maybe some of our observations around the league and maybe changes from what we saw last year to this year and those kind of things. So without further ado, welcome, Brad. Welcome back. At it this year, as you notice, I'm wearing my Baltimore Ravens shirt because I'm going to use them in the survivor pool this year. I think I'm playing in 5 survivor pools this year, Brad. So I didn't tell you that before, but yeah, I got 5 of them. We have 2 clown heads and then I got 3 others. So I'm going to see how I can do in some survivor pools. Maybe I can knock out one of the big ones. And I guess, we can start by just kind of breaking in. We have 168 entries in our survivor pool. And last week we only eliminated 6 people. So 162 still alive. 4 people did take the Patriots over the Raiders, and 2 people took the Dolphins over the Colts. Going into the game, I actually thought about kind of betting on both of those other teams, so the Raiders and the Colts. I did bet the Raiders money line. That was my bet of the week, and I only picked one game. I bet them, and I bet them on the money line, so was able to profit on that. I didn't have the stones really to bet the Colts, but man, that they just dismantled the Dolphins. I mean, just crazily. So I'll be interested in Brad's take on that game for sure, and especially when we start to look ahead to week 2. This year in our redraft leagues, we have 6 of them. So we've got a best ball 1, best ball 2. Those are exactly the same as last year's. And I just want to highlight T. Tanner, 7 with a 283.64. He's in first place. And we pay out the top 3 winners through 17 weeks in that league. So, those are, you're looking to do total points there. In best ball 2, PMZ, 285.89. So they're in the 280s are the score, the scores of the week. No roster moves in those. So you draft it, forget it. They have Clownhead 1 through 5 is the settings for best ball 1, and Clownhead 6 through 10 settings for best ball 2. So that's kind of how these look. In best ball head-to-head A division, I actually have the high score there, Fantasy Clown at 302.88 this week. And then in best ball 2 head-to-head B, I also have the high score at 306.47. So the same as before. The first one is the Clownhead 1 through 5 settings, and the second one is the Clownhead 6 through 10 settings. In this one, it's best ball, but we have trades and we have roster moves. So daily fab run here. So this is a matter of kind of building your roster and continually to manage. You just don't have to set a lineup. So my Quentin Johnson shares really did well this week because I wouldn't have ever started him, but his points, were counted. And then if I had AJ Brown or Nico Collins, they would just come off and I wouldn't have them. So, naturally I would have always started those kind of guys, but this allowed me to get the points for guys like Quentin Johnson, who I had on the bench, I think in both of those leagues. So that kind of helped me there and get those high scores. So I would imagine I will not have those high scores again next week. And that is head-to-head. So I did get some wins, but it doesn't help me on a cumulative basis, really. The redraft 1, that's the Clownhead 1 through 5 settings, and I've won that before. But I also think River AD 98 has won that one before as well, and he's got a 250.08 as the high scorer there. And then redraft 3, that's me again with a high score Fantasy Clown at 286.64. So I really did kind of dominated the 6 redraft leagues here, having 3 high scores out of the leagues. Kind of funny though, the 2 that matter where we're going for total points, I didn't figure out how to get on the top of the leaderboard. So, but off to a good start on the head-to-heads. And I won redraft 1, but I don't think I've ever won redraft 3. So that's a kind of a nice start for me to get in the leaderboard there. Looking ahead to our dynasty leagues, we have the 10 dynasty leagues that are standalone, and then also the Elite 8 and Big 8, and we'll just ram through those pretty quick. And what we'll do is we'll highlight 4 teams out of the whole amount of leagues, so you guys can kind of see what the lineups look like for them. So Clownheads 1 through 5, we have Clownhead 1 River AD 98 256.73, Clownhead 2 Circle the Wagon 268.48, Clownhead 3 D Hart 248.28, Clownhead 4 Jason Henson 38 276.73, and then Clownhead 5 Nino Hunt 263.24. And Brad's going to bring up Jason Henson's team with Clownhead 4, who is the high scorer, 276.73. And so how that even compares to the best ball and the standalone, that's a little bit above the standalone, but not as high as the best balls. So kind of interesting how that just takes a back seat there. And what do you think about this team that Jason has here? It looks like he doesn't have a whole lot of tight ends. A lot of times I see tight ends with 3-point PPR being the predominant items, but it looks like, he's going running back heavy in his flexes.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, his team looks pretty solid just at first look. I mean, he does have Ollie Gordon starting this week. But he's got Christian McCaffrey and JT, Drake London, Zay Flowers, Pittman, Laporta.
Well, you think about it, Zay Flowers and Lamar had big nights, and so you saw him have Lamar as his quarterback, and so
yeah, and Pittman had a good night as well.
Yeah, and just solid team. All in all, it's almost, as you reflect back, trying to get all those players drafted. He had to acquire some of those players to get to that kind of situation. Looking at Clownhead 6, the real Brad Smith, you took the lead, 315.52, so a real big score. Clownhead 7, Hot Sauce Wally, 292.42. Clownhead 8, me the Fantasy Clown, 250.44. Clownhead 9, Psalm 3303 with a 249.08, and Clownhead 10, Todd Jones 820 with a 291.11. He's a new member this year, so kind of nice to see a new member, get on the leaderboard on week 1. But your team, Brad, in Clownhead 6, 315.52, and if I'm not mistaken, that's the highest score on the board this week. So I'm anxious to see yours. I'm just looking at all the Elite 8 and Big 8 too. So you had that score is the best score out there. So who's on your team? I guess Josh Allen doesn't hurt, huh?
Yeah, I have him in running backs. Derrick Henry and CMC, Aaron Jones, James Cook. Looks like I'm not starting 3 QBs.
I was just going to bring that out, so you don't have 3 quarterbacks there. Wow.
And then, it looks like that's pretty much what I have going. So it's either they're all going off or I'm not going to be so hot.
Yeah, but with 3-point PPR, Hunter Henry is a thing. Really, he can score points for you too. So there is some opportunities there to score points, from the bench. I was going to ask you, do you have Mac Jones? Because that's everybody's running to the waiver wire these days for Mac Jones shares for sure. All right, Elite 8, one of our 96 team leagues. These are great. We've got Division A, Deadeye Al. That's my division, 285.08. Division B, El Diaz, 255.66. Division C, Fear to Chop, 245.91. Division D, Seagob, 1215, 260.88. Division E, Head Hunter, 93, 270.91. Division F, River AD, 98, 256.29. I think that's the third time River AD is on the top of the board here this week. Division G, the Dutch Dynasty, 261.84. And Division H, Malahim's 247.09. Let's bring up Division A. And Big Eye Al and look at his team.
Yeah. I mean, just first looks, Lamar, Jaden, Bijan, and Jonathan Taylor's a pretty good start.
Well, and Trey McBride, I mean, that's just, and Laporta, I mean, he's
Warren, Andrews.
on the tight ends. I mean, he just understands that you put 3-point PPR tight ends in there and you have a tough time beating them.
Got Bryson Brees on the bench, Montgomery, Marvin Harrison. I mean, Kyle Pitts. His team is kind of stacked, honestly.
And he's got extra draft capital, so yeah, look at that. Marvin Harrison on the bench. You might have said that, but
yeah, Brees Hall on the bench. Like, I mean, his team's pretty good.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough team to beat in the overall for sure. Big 8, Division S, Wandada 21, 265.94. Division T, Captain Curl 293.57. Division U, J Yates 11, 300.32. Division V, Diehard Hawk 255.66. Division W, River AD 98, 264.68. That's the fourth time I think he shows up. Division X, Circle the Wagons 268.62. Division Y, Neo 8989, 272.95. And Division Z, It's the Principal 287.48. Do you have Division U and J Yates?
Yep. There we go. All right, just to start off, I mean, Josh Allen, Jamar, and CeeDee is a good start, and then you got Christian McCaffrey. What's up?
It is, but really he's going to get better because I feel like, well, CeeDee had a good game, but Jamar didn't have a good game, right? So he's going to continue to get better. I mean, when Jamar has a good game, I guess Aaron
Goff
did have one of the better games he's going to have, but this team could get better. Like really, it could score more points when some of these guys get going.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, and he just lost Kittle too. But yeah, I mean the team's solid, and it'll definitely get better if his best players start performing.
What do you what are some of your takeaways after week 1? Are you surprised by kind of some of the things that happened? Like if we were to dumb it down to one thing, what was your biggest surprise of week 1?
I mean, the obvious one would be the Colts pretty much stomping the Dolphins this weekend. I mean that was pretty surprising, having Daniel Jones come in and take command of an offense like that.
So I guess I wasn't totally shocked at that. I just didn't want to bet on it. But I guess I wasn't totally shocked. And, it's going to sound funny, but I think my biggest surprise was that I saw the outcomes of the games. I pretty much didn't feel like there was much happened that I didn't figure would happen. And what I mean by that, I got 3 games wrong. But the 3 games I got wrong in like a pick 'em were like Atlanta, but they could have won. Like, I mean, I felt like, like those kind of games, like they were playing good enough to win. It just, at the end, it didn't work. I guess I felt like I guess if we go back, I did think Kansas City was going to win, but it didn't. I wasn't dumbfounded that Jim Harbaugh got his team ready to win. Like I wasn't like, oh my god, I can't believe they actually won
against the Chiefs.
Now, this week, I feel like I look ahead and I think there's some upsets bound to happen. And the one game that I can't figure out though this week, like there's always a game, right, that I guess I can't figure out, and that's Tampa Bay traveling to the Texans. What do you think of that game?
I don't know. I think Tampa Bay probably handles Houston pretty well.
Well, and I guess what surprises me is Houston's favored by 3.
I don't see how Houston is even considered.
And
Their team
that,
is
and
bad.
so that kind of makes it feel like, what do they know that we don't? Because that feels a little bit odd to me. I would have thought that Tampa would be the favorite. So I
Yeah,
guess I was shocked by that. And I didn't follow it all. And I was like, well, was there something to the Otten had a 0? I mean, like what happened that I didn't see in that game? And I guess that's what I just can't figure out, because when I was watching Houston, I didn't think they were very good. Now, I do think that maybe Nico Collins is better than he showed last week. Maybe the running game gets going better than it did last week. I just wasn't sure of that line. That surprised me. Do you think that Mac Jones running the San Francisco offense, is that a big deal?
I don't, honestly.
I mean, just heading to New Orleans and winning, right? I mean,
Yeah, you just need somebody that can throw a ball to a place.
yeah, I
San
guess I
Francisco.
feel like Mac Jones, if he's what he was last year in Jacksonville, making Brian Thomas become a stud. Because if you think about it, I did look back at my quarterback sheets, and when Mac Jones started throwing to Brian Thomas, he became a stud, like unequivocally a stud, at that point. And I said to myself, well, if that's how you become a stud, if he can make, kind of, not that Brian Thomas wasn't a stud without Mac Jones. I'm more saying, though, that's when it kind of came into fruition. He surely can do that in Kyle Shanahan's offense. If he can do that in Doug Peterson's offense. So I feel like it's just kind of like a let's go situation. Like, yeah, feed McCaffrey, throw the ball to whoever they give you to throw it to, whether that be Pearsall or Jennings or Sky Moore. I don't know. They'll just throw it to whoever they throw it to. And they'll just do whatever they do, and it'll be good. Like, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I guess I thought that. Now I also would say that sometime New Orleans is going to get a win. I don't think they're going to go winless this year. So I don't know when that win comes, but anyway, that feels like that. What about the Giants traveling to Dallas? Do you have a feel for that game?
I don't think the Giants are good.
So you said you think Dallas is good?
I think Dallas put up a fight against Philly, at least.
Okay. I guess I actually kind of crazy. I kind of think the Giants are going to go into Dallas and beat them.
I don't know. We'll see.
I guess I feel like the Giants were embarrassed. Russ almost lost his job, and I feel like that guy, he does enough to not get fired, but he's not that good. Does that make sense? Like, this would be the week that he just does enough to not get fired, if that makes sense.
Well, they probably don't need to win for him to not get fired.
Well, but meaning Russ the quarterback.
He probably doesn't need to win. He just needs to have a good game.
Well, I mean, I guess I think he'll have a good game, and it wouldn't shock me if he just gets Malik Willis or Malik Neighbors a ball bunch. And
well, that's what it's about. That's what's going to keep him his job.
And then throw to Theo Johnson down the middle, because those Matt Eberflus defenses never have been good against a tight end, as you saw with Goddard last week. And I would say that, Theo Johnson's as good as Goddard. I don't know, athletically. And, and now the Dallas defender got hurt that they just paid, and he's out. I don't know. I guess I could just see a way where they're mad at Jerry for trading away Micah and just paying guys, and the guys that they pay get hurt, and they just don't do anything quite right. And I don't know. I could see that. What about tomorrow night's game? What's your take on tomorrow night's game with the Commanders traveling to Green Bay?
I want to say the Commanders are gonna spank.
That's what I have. I have the underdog there too. So I guess I think there's some. I think the Packers aren't as good as they showed last week beating up on the Lions. And,
Yeah, that's what I think.
and I sort of wonder if they didn't get up big for that game. And there's the short week, they just won't be ready for this game. And Micah's not going to be any better this week than he was last week because there was no practice this week.
Mm-hmm.
Next week, he'll be pretty good. They can get the defensive game plan, with him in it, right? It's not like just go out there and rush the passer and fit it into the scheme. Next week, they can put actually defensive game plan in and put him in it, you know what I mean, and utilize him as a real part of the defense. Right now, it's like line up ahead of the center, line up outside, and just rush the passer and don't be gap responsible or lane responsible. And we'll bring the other run stoppers in. But next week, they can actually do some stuff. So that's part of it, I think, is that last week was adrenaline, excitement. This week is a little bit of a letdown. And I can see the Commanders coming in with Jaden Daniels just lighting it up. And I also like teams, I think, that travel early. And so the Commanders left Tuesday night for a Thursday game. And I think that is a good situation. That's what the Raiders did. They come across country. They came early. So what that does is you have your walkthrough the day before. So Wednesday night the walkthrough was in Green Bay, or tonight I should say, and I guess I like that. So that's one of my upsets. Now I might be all wrong because I feel like last week I was so right that I'm like waiting for the shoe to drop, but that's kind of what I have this time. And then I sort of think that that the Ravens are going to come out and just spank Cleveland.
Yeah,
it's going to be just
their
the Ravens
really
all
good.
Well, and I know Joe Flacco's getting the return to the Ravenville, but I don't think it matters. I think they're just pissed that they didn't
that's
win.
not even a storyline. Like the Ravens' offense is literally unstoppable right now.
And I think after Henry botched that fumble, I just think they're going to come out and just win by 40 or something. Like it's going to be like something you never saw before. Like it's going to be, we win on offense, we win on defense, we win on special teams, we score everywhere. Like we're just scoring everything. Justice Hill's returning stuff, and Keaton Mitchell's coming in and running stuff, and just touchdowns coming out of defenders. Hamilton's returning stuff from the safety spot and for touchdowns and pick sixes, and just I just think it's going to be like 42-3 or something. Like it'll be something that'll be off the charts. So that's kind of my take. How did your teams do this week? I mean, you had your one real good team here, but how did the rest do?
I did pretty well considering I didn't take too many losses week one. I usually do well week one because all the best players don't do well, and I don't have many of those.
Is that what you think? Like this year, I was I lost one of my standard redraft leagues, so I went 5-1, and then if you include all the best balls, even the ones I made roster moves, I was 9-2 out of 11 leagues, and I feel like that was a solid record for me. And as you see there, I was like the top scorer in the league in many, like not just the clown heads, but I'm in a couple industry leagues too, and I'm just outscoring most people and really doing well. And I'm journaling a couple teams, and I've got this quarterback team in redraft, which you shouldn't even be able to do, but I've got 11 quarterbacks on my team, and no bench players besides quarterbacks. That's all I have is quarterbacks on the bench. I picked up Mac Jones today and dropped the running back, and it was Dameon Pierce. It wasn't a real good one, but and really, Mac Jones is worth more on my bench than Dameon Pierce is worth on my bench, right? Like, I'm not going to start him anyway. It doesn't make any difference. I may as well have Mac Jones on the bench because that's going to help anybody. And all 11 of my quarterbacks are starting, with the exception of I have 2 spots for the Russ Dart combination. So when Russ goes away, then I'll drop him because he doesn't start anymore, and then I have another roster spot. But until then, I've got to kind of carry these two, and yeah, I mean, I kind of have a monopoly. I mean, if I have 10 of the 32 starting quarterbacks on my team, and I mean, somebody's taking zeros. I don't know. Like, that's kind of what I think. And I didn't have Purdy. He wasn't one of them. So I guess that guy is, on the way. And I did look at the quarterback sheet. That was interesting. Or I thought it was definitely interesting compared to last year. Last year, after week 1, Malik Willis came in for Jordan Love. And so this year, after week 1, we have one change as well. Mac Jones coming in for Purdy. But if we fast forward to next week, that's when there's 2 additional quarterbacks come in and take over for people. So, and one of them was when Andy Dalton came in and took over for, his ineffectiveness for Bryce Young. But, it just kind of reminded me that Bryce Young had an awful start last year too. So just because it didn't go real well this year, there needs to be a little bit more patience because he's able to work his way out of it. It definitely looked a lot better at the end of the year. So the same's true there. And then we had another injury last year in week 2 as well. So I guess I'm kind of thinking, hey, the injuries start to compile here in the not too distant future. So, oh yeah, I guess that's the other game. What do you think about the Chicago Detroit game? Who's going to win that game?
Oh, Detroit's gonna stomp Chicago.
You think so?
Yeah,
So both teams are 0-1. But what makes you say that?
because Chicago doesn't know how to finish a game. Even if they get up by the fourth quarter, they'll be down.
Is that?
And Johnson hasn't changed that.
Well, that's what I'm asking. Can he change that? I mean, is he the guy to change it? And you don't think he will?
No, if he couldn't do it last week, then there is no change in it.
I'm going to rewind the tape to 2018 when my friend Matt was there, right? And they lost against Green Bay that year in game 1, right? And that was the year of the double doink, so they made the playoffs. They lost that heartbreaking game of Monday Night Football, his first game ever. And I remember saying it, and they were up, and like they have to learn how to win. And it was how they recovered from that loss that I felt like propelled them into winning football the rest of the way. Got 14 wins, so really did well. And it seems a little bit parallel to me. The other thing that I think of is I actually thought that Brian Flores would know what Ben Johnson would do as a defensive coordinator. And then it came down to, of the inexperienced quarterbacks, I did have a little bit more faith in Kevin O'Connell, calling the play and keeping everything calm and getting his quarterback to the finish line more than seeing Ben Johnson do it. Because I thought that Caleb will be good. It's just going to take time for him to be good. But against Detroit, I think Ben Johnson can be creative, and he's going to understand how they're going to try to attack him. Like, I think he understands what Detroit, how they do it, more than Detroit understands how Dennis Allen, a good defensive coach, on the defensive side does it. And then also, and I sort of think they went hard after Green Bay and lost. I think they overlooked the Bears a little bit here too. I mean, slightly, not. I mean, I think they'll be ready to play. But anyway, that was kind of my take on it. So I wouldn't be shocked if the Bears won. I'm hesitant to say, go out on the limb and say, yes, the Bears are going to win. I just wouldn't be shocked to see Ben Johnson get a win here. And then it'll go from let's fire Caleb to Caleb's the best thing ever. And then watch out for the next week because it could get ugly the next week. They could return to the form of awful again. But I wouldn't be shocked. And then the narrative will be, oh, Detroit started 0-2. Can they come back? And then they'll come roaring back before the end of the year. Because remember, last year the Saints were 2-0 and looking like they were going to the Super Bowl. And Derek Carr was like on fire after 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, a lot changes after September too. So Those are kind of my takes of what I think will happen, and some of it sounds almost crazy when I say it out loud. So that's what I have going on. Any final words? We kind of chatted for a half hour, but do you have anything for everybody around Clownhead Nation?
Not too much. Just let's get some wins this week.
Yeah, that's awesome, and get into those survivors. We have a second pool starting this week as well. So good luck to each guys, and we'll see you next week.